The end of the road is truly just around the corner for Kiss. The band is scheduled to play their final 2 shows at Madison Square Garden in early December. They'll be broadcast on pay-per-view. No idea what the band has in store for these shows, but you can expect it's going to be epic, as their live shows always are. Unfortunately, it very much doesn't look like Ace and Peter will be joining in on the fun, even maybe performing an encore with the band, despite the fact that they have an extremely important role in the band's history. Gene Simmons is opening up about this. He says he's sad and angry they won't be playing with the band. Wonder if Paul Stanley has the same opinion. Of course, earlier this year, there was a lot of back and forth between Paul Stanley and Ace when Paul Stanley went on the Stern Show and said that if Peter and Ace performed with Kiss, fans might refer to it as piss. Ace Frehley understandably didn't take too kindly to that and threatened to tell some dirt about Gene and Paul that no one had ever heard before. He said that on Eddie Trunk. He came back a week later and ultimately said he wasn't going to. He talked to some friends and they told him it wasn't a good idea. Still no idea what exactly he was referring to when he said that. But Ace and Peter, as it stands now, will not be performing. Paul Stanley does not seem to be on good terms with Ace Frehley. In fact, Ace said when he threatened to go on Eddie Trunk the following week and tell some dirt about Paul if he didn't apologize for what he said, he claims to have received a phone call from Paul Stanley, who basically told him to F off and he wasn't going to apologize. Paul Stanley has not responded to that claim, but that was a pretty surprising claim indeed. Now, Gene Simmons in the past has kind of downplayed whether or not there needs to be Ace and Peter at the show. They seem to think the current lineup really can stand on its own. They are a good lineup. It is a good live band. They put on a hell of a show to this day, I must say. I've had the chance to see them a few times on the End of the Road tour. But whether or not this is going to result in Ace and Peter, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen, which is truly shocking to see Kiss go out on the end of their career and not feature Ace and Peter even once. I must say that's highly disappointing. And of course, there's a lot of questions about why Ace and Peter won't be there beyond the back and forth. Now, for Gene and Paul's part, they say they've actually invited Ace and Peter to come perform with the band, and it's them that are being turned down. Ace Frehley on Eddie Trunk said he would perform for the right price. So maybe the difference comes down to financials, but Gene and Paul have claimed they've invited them. Ace says he's never gotten an invitation. So somewhere this is getting lost in the sauce. But this is what Gene had to say in that interview. He told 519 magazine, I feel sad. I feel sad and angry that both Ace and Peter aren't here. I mean, they're alive, but they're not here to enjoy this unbelievable journey with us. They were there at the beginning and deserve all the credit. And when they look in the mirror, the only reason they're not here with us is themselves. So Gene is squarely blaming Ace and Peter. He's saying it's all their fault and they deserve a lot of credit, but as they've previously mentioned, they invited them to come out and do it, and they haven't. Now, what does that mean? What were the terms of that agreement? Are you asking them to come perform with you for free? Is there any compensation for that? But on the other hand, in Kiss's favor, their current lineup with Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer has been their most consistent, longest-lasting lineup, but in favor of Ace and Peter, it was their most successful lineup. It's what took the band into the stratosphere. Kiss manager Doc McGee even said of this decision, people say, oh, you should bring Ace and Peter up. I mean, how do you do that when you have 2 Catmen and 2 Spacemen? So you say, okay, you don't wear makeup and you do wear makeup, and they go, well, that was my makeup. I don't know. Paul Stanley spoke to Ultimate Classic Rock last month, and he spoke about just being at peace with the situation, to which he said, this tour is a celebration of the band and the life of the band over the past 50 years. It's not a celebration of the original lineup. As important as the original lineup was, I can say that we wouldn't be here today if not for them, and we wouldn't be here today with them. More shade there from Paul Stanley. Will they show up? Will we be shocked at the final 2 performances? Right now, it seems very unlikely. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more news right here at Rockfeed.